Crypto Bullseye family, hope you're all enjoying your weekend so far. Welcome back to the channel, and it's decision time for Bitcoin, decision time for the crypto market. They've been backed into a corner and they've got to make their mind up within the next few days. We'll have a look at both the bullish and the bearish scenarios. Remember, the bullish would be the anticipated nearly 12-month breakout of the longer-term downtrend, or the bearish, are we going to get the reaction at trend once again and that capitulation to the downside, the market reset that people have been talking about? We're going to look at both examples. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget those notification bells. Welcome to Crypto Bullseye. Right, okay, so we've got our levels of support and resistance built in, and we've got a massive area in the middle, and this is where we're hoping to take advantage. So you haven't had much built up here, you haven't had much built up here. We would expect the market, once it does finally do the break, to at least make a move to the upside, and that move to the upside from where it currently sits is 62%. So these are the areas that we're interested in, and certainly this level of resistance is going to be our next major area. Does it mean we're not going to move to the downside? Remember, we discussed it can move to the upside or the downside. We're going to look at bullish scenarios and bearish scenarios now, but let's just clean the chart up a little bit. We've got the weekly time frame up, but we're going to do most of our analysis in the daily. But just want to show you this trend line here is held all the way from 8th of November until where we are now, 26. It's held for 322 days, so nearly a year-long trend now. And at some point, we've got to break it. Doesn't mean it's going to be within the next few days. We could get a capitulation to the downside. We could see more downside action, but we need to be ready for when it does actually happen. So let's get into the daily, have a look at the daily. Actually, before that, go back and watch the tutorial about how you can apply your support and resistance levels. Remember how we do it on Crypto Bullseye. Higher time frame works the best. Reason why it works the best, because there's more people watching that. There's more institutions. There's more longer term swing traders, longer term investors looking on the weekly time frame for their signals. So there's more people watching it, the more the levels hold. And then we go one step further and we apply the line chart to it. And the line chart takes out the volatility of the session high and the session low, and you end up with the session close. So if you apply your levels of structure support and resistance, how many touches do you get at these levels? The more touches you get at these levels, the more likely that you're going to get a reaction in the future. So you apply your support and resistance levels at the areas where you've had the most touches in the past. So that's just a brief overview. Let's get into the daily. Right, okay, got the 1-day chart. We've got the standard candlesticks back up, and you can see this range now, the range that we've been talking about going back to 12 months, and you can see that the market's got to make a decision. I mean, the next level of support, if it doesn't hold where it's at now, we're looking at 16,000. Let's apply a couple of indicators to find out where we think price is likely to move if we get a reaction from a bullish perspective. So firstly, stick a Fibonacci on from this swing to the downside and see if any of our areas match up. You see that we've got this zone here between the 236 in our previous area of resistance, and it also coincides with the recent swing high of the previous move. So that's one area to look out for, and that's coming out at between 32,069, and the 236 is sitting at 29,750. We've got some further areas here, the 50% level, which lines up exactly with one of our resistance levels and coincides with near the top of the previous major swing high in this range. So there's a lot of resistance to get through here, and to get through this resistance probably in the next 12 months is probably going to be quite some achievement. So where is price likely to move in the near term? What we'll do is we'll add in a fixed range volume indicator to find out where the most amount of volume's been within this swing. So you can see that we're currently at an area of interest now where we need to also not just break this longer term resistance line, the longer term resistance trend line. We also need to break through this major resistance. So this is the major resistance line from the major move from November all the way to where we are now. And it's going to be important that we break through that. So you can see why we've got triple confluence here, and a breakout in the next day, in the next couple of days, is going to be some achievement, because you've got this long trend line to the downside here acting as confluence. You've got our resistance level on the weekly time frame acting as confluence, and you've got this major volume spike from the fixed range volume indicator. So there's triple confluence there, and for us to just break through all of that now is going to be some achievement. There's going to need to be some volume in the market for that. So from a bearish scenario, where we're likely to move to, let's have a quick look. And one thing that we can do is, we're in a bearish market at the moment, so a continuation to the downside is the likely move. So if we just get our fib extension and go from the swing high, the previous swing high, to the swing low, wrong one, swing high, swing low, back to the swing high, you see that we're sitting, the 1272 level is sitting at our next major resistance, major support level, which is 13573. So we've got major support, and we've also got the 1272 on the fib. So if we do get that capitulation to the downside, which is bought up by lots of buy orders, which pushes price action right back up, resets the indicators on the higher and the mid time frames, then we could get a bit of a reset and then start going for the major break here. So that's what I'm looking for in the short term. And I just wanted to bring you guys a little bit of Bitcoin analysis. We can go through and look at a couple of leading indicators. The DXY, we could see that it's got a little bit of a pullback coming on the DXY, and it's dropped through a resistance level. So it's dropped through the resistance level. What we'd like to see for a move in the crypto market, come back, test that as resistance, and back to the downside. Doesn't mean that necessarily the DXY or the dollar is bearish. All we need is that pullback. This is on the daily chart. This pullback could last several weeks, and that will allow the market to move. You got USDT Dominance quickly as well, which is also hitting at its resistance level. It's had two reactions, double top at this resistance level. And what would be nice to see in this instance is come back down, drop below this level, which is acting as support, flip as resistance, RS flip back down to the downside. And that means that people's coming out of the dollar, the USDT tether, and they're going into the crypto market, letting the crypto run for a few weeks. And that would signal a little bit of weakness. So it's looking quite good on the macro scale. Don't rule out the capitulation wick. Don't rule out a move to the downside, but just keep your eyes peeled, guys. Trade safe, trade carefully. Remember, it's not financial advice. We're just looking at the markets together and making a decision what we think is going to do, what the market's going to do next. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon.